We're going to play a little snippet from Rob Parker doing his Trash Talking Tuesday for Deadspin.com. Here he goes.
Today we're trashing the Michigan AD and the trustees of the football program. What are you guys, Mashugana? Mashugana means crazy in Yiddish. And the people at Michigan have to be crazy. Why in the world would you reward Jim Harbaugh reportedly with a 5-year contract extension after Michigan football had one of its worst seasons ever? Michigan's season was awful. It was 2-4 on the season, 0-3 at home. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. They lost to Indiana for the first time since 1987. They didn't play Ohio State because they were probably afraid. It was a total disaster. For sure, Jim Harbaugh's living a charmed life. We know he played quarterback at Michigan, but any other coach would have been run out of Ann Arbor with these results. No wonder Michigan only has 1 national championship since the Louisiana Purchase. Michigan isn't about winning. Otherwise, Jim Harbaugh would have been fired, not reportedly given a contract extension. It makes no sense. I'm Rob Parker, and that's my trash. Until next week.
There you go. Deadspin. Every Tuesday you get that on social media, Chris, with the video. They do a nice job, the people at Deadspin.
Yes. The one thing I agree with you on is that was your trash.
Oh, that's all you agree with? You think Michigan should sign him to a 5-year contract? Anybody else, Chris, and you know this, would have been run out of Ann Arbor. 0-5 against Ohio State. They let Michigan State come in there this year. And Melvin Turner, their new coach, got a signature win the first time in Ann Arbor. There's a lot of things wrong with Michigan. And he came there to get them to the playoff. And it just hasn't happened yet, Chris. And it's been 6 years.
This was a mess this year. There's no doubt about it. But I would not, and I wouldn't expect Michigan to judge him off of a season like this. You're right. It was bad, and everybody had the same circumstances, so I'm not making an excuse, but I'm just saying I wouldn't expect a program to judge a guy off a 6-game pandemic-type season. So, look, he's got 1 year left on his deal. We know that in college where you got to recruit these guys, and they go for the coach. And if you've only got 1 year left, they don't know if you're going to be there, for their career, then it's going to be tough to get top recruits. So that's why there's the extension. Here's where I don't have a problem with what Michigan is doing. Number one, sure, he hasn't been what he was expected to be.
He's getting paid to be a top coach, right?
Right. He's paid as a top, I think the third or fourth
highest, right?
Yes, in the nation. The other guys at that level have all won national championships, or at least played for, right? In the top 5, played for the national championship, been in the playoff. He hasn't even gotten Michigan to the playoff. So he certainly his mom, his wife, can't say he's lived up to expectations. So there's no doubt about that. However, Rob, he has had 4 finishes in the top 20 at Michigan, 3 in his 6 years, including this year, 3 in the top 15. And here's the thing. Michigan had only 1 top 15 finish in the previous 8 years before Harbaugh got there.
Chris, so that doesn't move me at all.
It's fine. It might not move you, but it is what you said it in your rant. Michigan's got 1 national championship, period. And that one was mythical, as we all know. But was it 97, right?
97, right.
And it was mythical. And so Michigan is not Alabama. They are not Clemson. They are not Ohio State. They're in that next tier. And yeah, they want to win a championship, but they're relevant national. This year notwithstanding, he has brought them back to national relevancy.
Let me tell you this,
and here's
Chris.
my biggest thing, Rob, here's my biggest thing. If they were bringing him back at the same money or more, then I would be right there with you. I think it'd be ridiculous. He reportedly is getting less money, which he should. And we talked to Bruce Feldman about this. If it helps Harbaugh sleep at night to say, you know what, it's the pandemic, everybody's taking a pay cut, fine. But we all know that ain't it. You're getting a pay cut because you have not been up to snuff. You have not been a top 5 coach. You've not made us a top 5 program. So we're cutting your pay. But if they're cutting his pay, and I'm fine with all the incentives, you get us to the playoffs, you get $1 or $2 million more. You win a championship, you get $3 million more. Whatever, I'm fine with all the incentives. But as long as the base salary is significantly lower than what he was getting before, I'm all good with it.
If I'm Jim Harbaugh, I would feel like the school has no confidence in me. Because, Chris, my moles are telling me one of the incentives in his contract, if he wins a national championship, they'll give him $1 gazillion. So I don't think that they even believe that Michigan has a shot.
Is that, I mean, obviously, because is it real, though, that
No,
you've heard that it's a significant, okay.
I'm just playing. But my point is that they don't even, like they brought him there to be not just relevant, Chris, but to have a chance. That Michigan's a story program. I get it. He was supposed to be the guy to take them to the next level. The way that he brought the 49ers, right, from their dark ages after the Joe Montana and all that, Bill Walsh, and I get all that, but he was supposed to take them to the next level. Being a top 20 program, when you have all the players that come there, Chris, and the facilities and all that, that's a given. I mean, that's a given.
Like I said, top 15 one time in the 8 years before he got there.
But that's a given. I'm saying for him, he was supposed to do more. This guy played quarterback at Michigan. He was in the NFL for 14 years as a quarterback. I mean, this is a guy who should be able to attract really talented players. This year might be the first time he got a quarterback. He's had trouble recruiting quarterbacks. It's just been a disaster. And people who I've talked to, I mean, Michigan people and fans who were excited about him, Chris, they want him gone. They were hoping that an NFL team would come and take him because they've been that disappointed. And here's the other part. The Lions did the same thing when Matt Millen was the GM. And, Chris, he was terrible. And after his first 5 years, the Fords gave him another 5-year contract, which he didn't live out. I think he got fired after 8.5 years. They went 0-16, and that franchise was a mess. But just the optics of rewarding a guy a 5-year, I get it, Chris. He can't come back as a lame duck with 1 year, but I would have given him a 3-year deal, given him some money, given him some incentives. But this 5 years feels like they rewarded a guy who's let them down. That's what it feels like to me. I don't care what the money is and the incentives, because the incentives are good enough, Chris.
Pay cut?
Well, because it's not a real pay cut, because the incentives will be games enough so that he can make the money up to make him feel like he's earning it. There's no way he was making $8 million and now he's making $5 million. That is not the pay cut. I guarantee you.
What do you think it is?
Maybe $1 million off, $1.5 million. Yep, like that, Chris. And then, if you win 6 games, you get $1 million. So then you're up to 7. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, watch.
No, the incentive 6 game. Come on.
Yep.
I've got no problem with an incentive-laden contract.
Because it just makes you feel better by telling people, he's got to get incentives and he's got to win. You know what I mean? It's a PR way of doing it to make people feel good, not to feel like, oh, man, this guy got the same money and the team is bad.
Well, if that's true, then you're right. That's some garbage because he has not lived up to what they expected. The pay cut should be a legit pay cut. And I'm fine with the incentives taking him up to $9-10 million a year, whatever. Because if he gets to the playoff, if he beats Ohio State, wins the Big Ten, wins the national championship, fine. We'll pay him. But if it's what you said, I mean, if it's stuff like 6-7 wins, come on, it can't be that bad. It can't be that low because you're right. It is just a PR stunt.
Right, to make people feel good.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I got no issue with it. 3 years wouldn't have been bad. But again, 3 years is not really a lot of time when you're talking about college football and players that are going to be there for 4 years. So I don't have a problem with it. But I'll be interested to see what the listeners think. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Where are you at on this reported Jim Harbaugh contract extension with University of Michigan at a lower pay grade? You fine with it, or you like Rob? They should have got rid of their golden boy.
Hey, Paul in Asheville, North Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Paul?
Hey, good evening, fellas, and Happy New Year to you both. Good to hear you back together.
Yes, sir. You too.
Listen, couple quick points. It's not just a one-part transaction. It's a fire and a hire. So if they don't think that they're going to get a top-notch coach to replace him, you don't make the move. My other second point is I don't care about the contract numbers or the incentives. What's the buyout? If you fall short again, what's it going to cost me to get out of this contract? And that's what's going to tell you what Michigan thinks of Jim Harbaugh.
No, they say
That's
the
a good
buyout
point.
is less. I've heard that. Thanks for the call, Paul.
Right.
I've heard that.
Russ,
Russ,
Rob, if the contract is significantly lower, the buyout's lower, are you still bothered by it?
I just think that a 5-year extension just feels like you rewarded him, that he has some job security, Chris. Michigan is always going to be but so good. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to bottom out. So he's not going anywhere. It's not really like a real harsh penalty like, hey, you got to win 11 games next year, otherwise you're out of here. It ain't like that. Michigan, because of the Big Ten, is always going to win 9 or 10 games, Chris. They are.
I don't think, first of all, that's not true. That's Brady Hoke, all right?
What are you talking about?
I don't think they're rewarding him.
I do.
Right.
Russ in Texas, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Russ?
What's going on, Rob? Chris?
How
Glad
you?
to see you back.
Good to be
we
back.
missed you these
Thank
last
you.
2 weeks for you. I missed you killing them takes on Rob the last 2 weeks.
You want me to hang
Thank
up on
you,
you
my
too,
man.
Russ? What are you doing?
Hey, but real quick, though, with the Steelers, Rob, you hate the Steelers. You're so high on the Ravens. Who they played the last 4 weeks. But neither
It
here nor
doesn't
there.
matter. They demolished them. And how did the Steelers do when they played Cincinnati with no quarterback or running back? Do you remember that game?
Rob, the Steelers, the Ravens, who they played the last 4
Do you
weeks.
remember that
Ravens have
game?
been
I'm
beating up
asking
on
you
chumps.
about the
They look good,
the
though,
Bengals.
but they've been beating up on chumps. Yes.
It's true.
But go
like I
ahead.
said,
What you got to say about Michigan?
No, like I said, like kind of what the other caller said, if they don't have another top-notch coach to replace him, I would ride with him. You know, he's definitely underachieved. He definitely needs to take a pay cut. But like I said, I would ride with him unless there's somebody better.
Right.
All right, thanks for the call anyway, Russ. Eric
It
in
sounds like
Arizona.
You made a lot of enemies when I was gone, right?
You're on the Odd Couple,
Man.
Fox Sports Radio. It is what it is.
Chris and Rob, you guys are great.
Thank you,
Thank you.
I actually
Eric.
wanted to call and say thank you for all that you do. And the Chargers, the San Diego Chargers, should go with the enemy, but now is not the time. Go ahead and give it to Garrett or Harbaugh because they do not have a fan base. They need to go back to San Diego. And
That ain't happening. They just
Wait,
built
wait.
They just built a
Right.
beautiful new stadium in L.A. They're not going back to San Diego.
And what,
Eric, that's
so
not happening.
Are you trying? Because usually we don't take calls on another topic, but I want to hear you on this. You said Jason Garrett. Are you trying to say a Garrett or Harbaugh would put fannies in the seats and be enemy wouldn't?
Not as good a job as people think because San Diego, they're slaves to the Spanos family, and the Spanos family is not going to let the enemy do what he wants to do to run that team. They're going to control Garrett. Go ahead, yeah, but
they got
I don't know.
talent. They got
All
big
right.
talent, and they
Thanks,
got a
Eric.
great young quarterback. All right.
Appreciate it. Let's go to Larry in Florida. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Larry?
Hey, my brothers. Happy, healthy New Year.
You
You
too.
too, my man.
Rob Parker, I want to come to the studio and be your sidekick. I want to do a show with you.
All right.
Listen, Michigan was definitely scared that. I think they knew that he was going to go jump to New York and take the jet job. And Chris, I have something for you. I know you're a LeBron kisser-upper, but baby, how about my Knicks, Chris?
They're 4-3. That shows you how bad the Knicks
know.
have been.
That's how desperate
They're 4-3.
Larry.
Will you
really?
relax?
Come on, Chris.
Look, they look. I'll give you this. I like what I see.
They're on their way to 7-58.
Chris, you made my whole 2021. That's all I wanted you to hear.
Look,
right.
I like what I see, but they're gonna have a heck of a time making the playoffs. The East is getting a lot better.
No doubt.
But they look Thibodeau's got them rounded into shape. I'll give you that.
Happy New Year. Stay safe.
Yes.
All right, Andre, real quick in Massachusetts, you're on The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Is this the Andre that calls up to other shows on the other network?
Yes, he calls the ESPN New York, right, Andre?
Occasionally, because I got to get my reps up. We discussed it. Odd Couple, Prince Broussard, Rob Parker. I'm an apprentice right now. I'm an apprentice in training. And
I got
it. I got to get my reps up. But in terms of Jim Harbaugh, go ahead and play that Vince McMahon music, okay? Because there is no chance that Michigan is going to advance with him at the helm. This is a crying shame. I agree with you, Rob. 115,000 people show up to the big house in Michigan, and this is what they get, John Harbaugh. Michigan, what are they? They're at the bottom of the Big Ten. You have teams like Indiana, Iowa, Northwestern in the Big Ten that are making strides, whereas Michigan continues to fall behind. 0-5 against Ohio State. For the fans of Michigan sports and then Michigan football particularly, this is an outrage. There's other coaches out there that can improve this program. Jim Harbaugh has no magic sauce. I do call the other networks because I got to set my game up to be with you guys. But for the people in Michigan, I'm with you, Rob. Okay, get ready to get the tar and feather. And people, this is an outrage.
All right, Andre.
Thank you, Andre. Rob, I think Andre legitimately feels bad that I called him out like that.
No, I know. You were listening in New York, right? You were driving around in
my
Jersey.
Car. Yes. And I get it. Andre's our
just
man.
playing.
We
Right.
love
Just
you. We
playing
just
with
messing around.